The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, not only gives us insights into our basic personality types, but it also gives us insights into our emotional intelligence. You know, our relationship within our personality. So be sure to watch the videos on interpersonal and intrapersonal factors as related to emotional intelligence. This is going to aid you in developing aspects within this intelligence. Now, this series of videos is going to focus on developmental challenges and some medius tasks to employ in order to improve your emotional intelligence and to be more in tune to those around you as well as to yourself. As an INTJ, remember that you are very strategic in nature. You can synthesize information very quickly, and you tend to have some great results. You also are analytical and even tough-minded when it comes to visions. You are going to be dedicated to your visions. Now, you have a natural tendency to see the entire situation. You have a great ability to have a whole view. You're going to think strategically, and you're going to especially do that when it comes to challenges. But let's look at what we can do in this interpersonal area. So you may want to think about how you could be more collaborative. And this is because you tend to think independently and you really enjoy solving those complex problems. But you need to be more collaborative when you're working with others. You may want to try working in another group, or really how can you participate in group dynamics? Look at ways to develop yourself within a group. Also, you need to sort through and really clarify some tactics, some concrete tactics to achieve your vision. You want to be able to have exact steps to get where you want to be. As an intuitive preference, at times you get a little bit flighty and you get excited about one new project or another. So this is important for you really to have some concrete tactics. Lastly, really identify and label your emotions. As a thinking preference, feeling tends to fall to the back, but you want to remember that in order to have a better relationship with yourself and others, you need to have empathy. You need to develop empathy, and that's going to come as you're able to really label your emotions, to identify them. And this is going to provide a more comprehensive picture of a situation, and it will aid in your ability to be a better problem solver. Let's looking at the interpersonal side. Remember, you are a master innovator. You have passion and a comprehensive action plan, very coherent action plan. This goes along with that judging side, and because you have a connection of thinking and judging, you are able to create wonderful detailed plans. Now remember though that you express analytical and you're even very critical. You can even at times appear tough-minded because you're more focused on competence. So let's look at how we can become a little better in developing our emotional intelligence in relationship to other people. So one thing you can do is to exhibit empathy. You've heard the term, what would it feel like to walk in someone else's shoes? And that's what you want to do. You want to step back and think about it. What would it feel like to walk in someone else's shoes? Mirror their expressions. Mirror their feelings. If somebody comes to you and says, oh, I'm so excited, I've got a job interview with blah, 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 and this is my greatest opportunity because it's following through on something I really want to do. What are you going to do? Get excited with them. Show some emotion, even though that really may not be your strength. You want to be able to do that. You want to deal with others. And remember also when you're being tough-minded that people generally are doing their best. They're not trying to be slackers. Just because they do something differently than you doesn't mean that it's wrong. You want to also show more emotional and social support for other people. No matter what, even if it is not their area of expertise, be sure that you express appreciation for any efforts that have been given. You also want to develop some skills in conflict management. This is very important, especially within the cooperative and the collaborative strategies. You will obviously be very easy with the competitive strategies, so we want to develop a little bit more on the competitive or lacking competitive and a little bit more on the cooperative and the collaborative. Now let's look at what we can do to improve our emotional intelligence. This is something that you're already doing well. So we want to keep doing this. Don't get rid of this part because this is what you're really good at. Remember, you're a master of innovation. So you want to be able to keep looking at a perspective from a system. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're really good at seeing how tasks are done and how things are done. And you want to keep doing that. You want to keep sharing your critical insights and your observations. This is a great strength that you have because you are analytical. You are a master problem solver. Let's take a moment and look at what we need to start doing to improve your emotional intelligence. Remember that when you're communicating, you really need to demonstrate more patience. More patience is important because you don't have a lot of patience for other people, and this is because you think independently and you enjoy solving complex problems, again, independently. But we want to make sure that we have patience when we communicate with other people. Also, look at how you can word the outcomes. How can you summarize an outcome? What is the vision? As an intuitive person, you have great insights. You are future-oriented and you've got great plans and great visions. However, you may want to find a way that you can summarize those visions and those desires in a way that makes them easily communicated to somebody else. Now, here's our stop things. Stop so that you can improve your emotional intelligence. Now remember that you need to quit assuming that if something is not on that urgent list, that must do right now, that it's not important, right? As a judging preference, you tend to have a lot of things already put together, especially when you put together that thinking side of your personality type. You may have task lists and priorities and goals, and you know where you are going to be in 5 years, 10 years, and even in 5 minutes. But you need to take some moment and remember that if it's not on your list, does not mean that it's unimportant. There are things that may be on your list that are not on somebody else's, and vice versa. So make sure that you realize that sometimes all things are important. It's not also that it's all just good or it's all just bad. Sometimes a decision is a matter of good, better, and best. They're all great decisions, just what would be a better decision? Let's also look at how you tend to walk away from feelings. This is something that you do. You are going to see someone get emotional, and your first and most pleasant frustration is going to be dealing with those feelings. You would like to just turn around and walk away. But you cannot do that. You need to remember that the feelings of other people are very important. So you're going to want to be able to find ways that you can deal with those. This is part of improving that emotional intelligence. Some things that you can do is when you are observing other people, maybe you're standing in line at a grocery store. Instead of sitting on your cell phone and going through your email, which is an important task, right? Pay attention to the people around you. How does the mother in front of you feel as her child keeps pulling the stuff off of the rack, you know, the candy and the junk food, and throwing it in their basket? What do you think that your cashier is feeling right now? What about the person behind you? Are they irritated that they have to wait? What is it that you think the people around you are feeling right now? Now be sure to take a moment and watch 2 of the videos that are related to emotional intelligence. There's a video on the interpersonal factors and also a video on the intrapersonal impact and arena that are in result or regarding emotional intelligence.